Welcome to Lessons in History, and today we shall look at academic literacy. For those of you who joined us last week, we are delighted that you chose to become a part of this e-classroom. Now, today we shall look at, as I said earlier on, academic literacy. When one studies the past, we look at it from a variety of perspectives. In fact, one of the presentations that is important for the study of history is that which deals with multiple causations or multiple factors, okay? And later on, we shall discuss multiple causations or the various factors that contributed to an event or issue. But for today, we look at a variety of perspectives, and so we shall deal with the fact that in writing a history paper, one needs to look at the social, economic, cultural, and political aspects. Now, the varieties of history include biographical, economic, religious, social, political, ethnographic, as well as geographical, oral, and digital. In this age, COVID age, it is easy for you to access information digitally from online sources as well as the YouTube, particularly from the YouTube, right? But one of the important areas that quite often we downplay is the Wikipedia. The Wikipedia also has quite a lot of information on historical methods. Now, the textbook that I wish to recommend for all students to use is the one written by Professor Mary Noel Moniz, RSM, she's a religious sister of mercy, and the title of her publication is How to Do Better Research. It was published in Georgetown by the Demerara Publishers Limited in 1980. And the page that we are looking at today is page 38. Now, in her presentation, she discusses the vocabulary that historians use. Because this is a presentation on history, it is absolutely important for you to familiarize yourself with the language that historians use. For instance, when one talks about exercise of power, you will come across words such as the junta, monarchical, absolutism, despotism, autonomous oligarchy, plutocracy, troika, plebiscite. And these words are quite often found on Latin American history as well as European history. The next is governmental positions, and very often in preparing your papers, you will use words such as dictator, potentate, kingmaker, despot, raja, nadab, power behind the throne, political, right? Next, intellectual movements, and here you're talking about history of ideas, philosophy of history, and quite often you find words such as scholasticism, rationalism, humanitarianism, utilitarianism, existentialism. Now, when I did my research on the Guyana Labor Union, I had to familiarize myself with the vocabulary that is used for historians of history. And these words include scab, conciliation, strike, arbitration, industrial dispute, pension scheme, gratuity, shop steward, bargaining agent, work stoppage, severance pay. Okay, these are some of the words. There are several words that you will come across. But the general idea is that in order to enhance your the presentation of your paper, it is necessarily to use the vocabulary associated with that particular topic. Now, Manise on page 38 talks about foreign words, and the underlined words are de facto, de jure, fait accompli, golpe de estado. She also mentions that there are foreign words that are not underlined, and these include, for instance, antebellum. When one, for instance, talks about the American history, you quite often come across the word antebellum. There is also bona fide, bourgeoisie, carte blanche, depending on the area of history or the geographical area that you are discussing. You will find these words used quite often. In Guyanese history, it's very seldom that we talk about antebellum or bourgeoisie. But if you were, for instance, writing a paper on European history, bourgeoisie comes up very frequently, particularly in the 18th and 19th century, when there was the whole struggle for unification of the various states. You will recall that I had mentioned in a previous lesson that when the Europeans started coming to the colonies of Guyana, Demerara, Essequibo, and Berbice, Holland, for instance, was not unified until in the 19th century. Hence, there were states in Holland, and these states were able to sponsor various persons and businesses to go travel around the world in search of colonies, right? So Amsterdam was a state, and Abraham Van Peer, who basically established the colony of Berbice, he was from another state, all right? So that is important for you to know. Now, quite often, in order to write the papers, you need primary documents. What are primary documents? Primary documents are sources that are accounts or artifacts produced by eyewitnesses to events. Diaries, letters, speeches, autobiographies, interviews, artifacts, postcards, wills, transports, and paintings. It also includes analysis of maps, analysis of political cartoons for messages of a historical context, and use of multimedia and primary sources for a historical perspective. There are also secondary sources that the students of history have to rely on. And secondary sources use information gathered from others. Textbooks and biographies are secondary sources. One needs to determine the reliability of the source. For a primary source, find out who wrote it and when. An account written during or immediately after an event is more reliable than one written years later. For secondary sources, look for good documentation. In a reliable account, researchers cite their sources of information in footnotes and bibliographies. Secondary sources can be for both types of sources. Evaluate the author. Is this author biased? Some authors are very prejudiced and biased, and this is reflected in their writings. What background and authority does he or she have? Finally, compare two accounts of the same event. If they disagree, you should question their reliability. I wish to thank you for joining the class today. I am your presenter, Mrs. Hazel Wilford, for the Guyana Institute of Historical Research. If you have any other questions, please contact the Institute at gmail.com. Now, the printed presentation will be found on your page. Thank you once again for listening.